The main road to Wareham was closed after part of this huge tree came down. The remaining section looked precarious. The local authorities couldn't seem to make up their minds whose responsibility it was to remove it.
They're only interested in the roadway, they're not interested in the other half of the tree, which is about to fall on our house if the wind gets any worse. Every time I hear a crack, my stomach does turn over slightly, but the main thing is we got out, the kids are fine, and that's all that's really important at this stage.
Here in Southbourne at about 5 o'clock this morning, the winds took the roof off that building over there. Chunks of wood, felt and lead came flying towards this old people's complex. The debris came through this courtyard, hitting the sides of the buildings and parts of the garden, but amazingly not actually hitting any of the windows. Finally, this bungalow took the brunt of the impact, with the roof being completely demolished as the 85-year-old resident cowered inside.
I was asleep and then I heard this almighty bang and I thought it was well, I didn't know what it was, you know, but first of all I thought it was a bomb because it sounded like it.
At Hamworthy in Poole, another roof that succumbed to the elements and another set of residents left picking up the pieces.
Top floor flat's been very bad. Two of the people had to move out that last night because of the water coming in. They just left buckets wherever possible. We hardly had any sleep because we were expecting the water to come through our ceiling.
With so much damage, the most incredible statistic of the night is that no one was injured. Martin Dowse for Meridian Tonight.
Well, the damage here at Hayling Island is very, very sadly plain to see on the floor here. Bits of the ceiling, a broken chair, breeze block there, a shattered computer. It really is awful, and goodness knows what bad weather tonight might bring. Anyway, for a roundup of the day's other news, back for the moment to the studio and Debbie.
Thank you very much, Fred. Well, the storms dominating the news today. The government today said climate change was to blame for the severe weather conditions. The Environment Minister, Michael Meacher, said the government is working to get transport services across our region back to normal.
A lot of trees have been spread-eagled over the line. There has been flooding taking place, which has, in some cases, actually buried the line. Those, again, is a degree of severity of climatic impacts that cannot be prevented. All that we can do is for rail track and the emergency services to clear these as quickly as they can. There has been very widespread disruption, and obviously the government is very concerned about that and sympathetic to those who've not been able to travel. But we are dealing with it, and many lines, including in the southeast and the southwest, are now reopening fast.
Train services across the south were brought to a standstill this morning when both Connex and South West Trains decided it was better to be safe than sorry and cancelled every service in the region. 1/3 of a million commuters are estimated to have been affected. A train in Surrey ran into a tree which had fallen across the tracks at Chilworth near Guildford. No one was injured, but the train was damaged and had to be taken out of service. And in Wiltshire, streets and homes in Mere were flooded when the River Stour burst its banks. That's all from the newsroom so far. Now it's back to Fred Dinenage in Hayling Island. Fred.
Thank you very much indeed, Debbie. This is really appalling. Carl Tyler, this one of several tornadoes. Where have they come from? What's caused them?
Well, last night, Fred, cold front went through, cooled down the upper atmosphere, and things really did bubble up, and we just had a line of these things. And they can be absolutely vicious, as we can see in here.
Are we going to get more, Carl? Is that a possibility?
Well, I would have thought it's less likely now. We've still got showers around, but I don't think they're big enough to spawn the sort of beast that did this sort of thing.
OK, Carl, thank you very much. More from you later. We'll have the full weather forecast from Carl, of course, in part 2 of the programme. Have we seen the last of these horrible storms? By the look of this, possibly not. Plus, as clearing up gets underway, we have the very latest on how the storms are affecting your area. And we shall return to Bognor Regis as the salvage operation continues following Saturday's tornado. Well, the weather obviously dominates the programme tonight. This, believe it or not, is the bedroom of a house at Hayling Island, a house that's been devastated, destroyed by a twister at 6 o'clock this morning. Indeed, violent storms have caused devastation right across the region. The south has been struck by 4 tornadoes. One of the worst affected areas was Hayling Island, where roofs were ripped off homes. Up to 200 caravans have been damaged as Selsey took another battering. There's been widespread flooding and many trees have been uprooted. The storms were the worst for 10 years. Well, unless you see this kind of devastation for yourself, it really is hard to believe. It's hard to believe television pictures. You have to actually come and look at it. It really is something to behold, something quite terrifying, particularly the potential consequences of it. Earlier today, I took a closer look at the damage here at Hayling. Well, I've just arrived at Meath Close on Hayling Island, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. If you look behind me there, two houses, both with the roofs off. It's just quite extraordinary. And as we walk down here, breeze blocks that have smashed all over the place, been lifted up like, look at this hole in the ground. That's a breeze block that's gone in there. It's an absolute miracle that no one was killed. And look at these houses here. Two of them, well, you can't live in them anymore. The roofs are gone. Even the one on the end here, the window's gone in there. There was a lady behind that when the glass shattered. And what I can't believe about this is that I spend so much time myself on Hayling Island. I've got a beach hut just a few hundred yards along the beach from here, and little estates like this are normally so smart and well ordered, as indeed was this estate until about 6 o'clock this morning. Anyway, that roof that I showed you in the first place came bouncing across, smashed onto these houses there, catapulted across these back gardens here. And look at this over here. That's where that roof finished up. Smashed against the garage door of this house here. And incredibly, there was a man inside that garage at the time. If he'd come out a second earlier, he would now be dead. And upstairs, you see a broken window there. In there, an 18-month-old baby. Miraculously, she escaped as well. It is just unbelievable. And of course, in one of those two devastated houses behind me, a lady who was expecting a baby today. Don't know what the news is on that. I sincerely hope it is good news. Well, in this sort of area, Selsey and other areas, of course, they're just beginning to come to terms with the devastation that's affected them. In Bognor Regis, they've had, well, a weekend to get used to it, I suppose, and start the big clear-up operation. Alex Rossi has the story.
It's images like this that bring home the terrifying force of the twister. This tile fizzed off a nearby roof at more than 100 miles an hour. As the full extent of the damage becomes clear, homeowners like Andy Shadbolt start picking through the devastation, trying to salvage what little they can.
Devastated. I've got to laugh or I'll just cry. You know, I can't believe it. You know, all my friends and that I promised a load of plants to next year. Well, they won't get them now.
The inside of his home's also been shaken. His wife's doing her best to catch the water dripping through the roof.
It's quite extensive. Windows have all been blown in at the front. Roof is quite bad, really. Bit of a shock.
At this factory, the situation's actually got worse. The twister devastated the side of the building, but last night's high winds have caused more structural damage. The cost to fix it could run into hundreds of thousands of pounds.
The priority now for most people is making sure they get their insurance money quickly.
There's a limit to what an MP can do, but I'm keen to make sure that the insurance companies do pay up quickly. And if there are any problems, I hope you'll get in touch with me so we can try and put some pressure on the insurance companies to act quickly.
The twister lasted less than a minute, but as homeowners know, it will take months to clear up. Alex Rossi in Bognor Regis for Meridian Tonight.
Well, it seems that virtually no part of the south has remained untouched by the appalling weather of the past hours. Let's get back to Debbie in the studio in Southampton and see what we can expect over the next few hours. Debbie.
Thanks, Fred. Well, the south is bracing itself for another windy night. 10 more millimetres of rain is expected, with more wet weather to come for the rest of the week. There are severe flood warnings for the River Adur in West Sussex, the River Arun and the River Ouse. The advice if you live in these areas is to call the flood line on 0845 988 1188 for up-to-date information. Up to 80 millimetres of rain fell in 24 hours across the region, and the next critical period will come with the high tide at midnight tonight. Train services are slowly being restored. 20-minute delays are expected on most Connex services. On South West trains, some services between London and the south have resumed. On the roads, the advice from the AA is to be extremely cautious and to keep to the speed limits. Ferries were severely disrupted today, with many services cancelled. Again, the advice is to phone before setting out on your journey. 25,000 homes are still without power this evening, with electricity companies working round the clock to repair broken lines. Youngsters at many schools had a day off today. In Hampshire, 15 schools were closed. 9 were shut in Brighton and Hove, 3 on the Isle of Wight and Portsmouth, and 16 in Dorset. Most of those are expected to reopen tomorrow, but parents are asked to call to make sure. Well, that's the current situation. Now back to Fred and Carl on Hayling Island.
Give it back to me. I'll take it now. Well, here we are back at Hayling Island. And of course, the big question now is what's going to happen over the next 12 hours or so? Are we going to get a repeat of this devastating weather? Carl Tyler's the man with the details.
Thank you, Fred. Well, we've already had some showers here, and showers have been the order of the day today. But it has improved. It has been a little bit brighter, but it's been scattered showers today, and the winds have eased down. Now, if we have a look at the satellite picture, you can see the huge area of cloud that was sitting over the country last night. And if I run the sequence, that cloud gave 2 inches of rain in many places. But gradually it started to drift away today. We did see some sunshine come out, but there was a scattering of showers just digging in behind. Now, what we're watching is the cloud over Ireland, because underneath that there's another band of showers, and by noon tomorrow that band of showers will have passed right the way through the country. It's just clearing Kent. So yes, there will be more showers overnight tonight. So as far as tonight is concerned, inland the showers will die out for a while. They'll be coming back again after midnight. But right here on the coast, we're going to have showers on and off through the night. Lows of about 8, that's 46, and this brisk and blustery southwesterly wind. Tomorrow morning in the west, a reasonable start, sunny spells around, but showers soon developing through the afternoon, a scattering of showers, some heavy. Over in the east, it'll be similar. We'll have a bit of early sunshine. We'll find a few showers, and then through the afternoon, sunny spells and showers. Temperatures tomorrow at 13, that's 55. Now looking ahead into Wednesday, we could well see a dry morning, but through the afternoon, we will see some heavy showers coming along. Now our picture tonight, that's by young George, and the summary tonight, clear spells and scattered showers. Tomorrow, scattered showers, some heavy.
Thank you, Carl, very much indeed. Well, it goes without saying, your heart goes out to the people here at Hayling Island and right across the south. Your heart goes out to the families of those who've been bereaved and, of course, to those who've been injured. It really has been quite a shattering experience for all of us. Let's hope the south recovers as soon as possible. Good night.